Hi everyone, my name is Rob Watson and I'm the module leader for TECH1002 Social Media Innovation. And this is an overview video of the topics that we're going to cover in the first lecture and some of the issues that some of the things that we'll do in the first set of workshops. So each week what I'll do is I'll record one of these videos, probably about 5 or 6 minutes long, and it will give you an overview and a bit of an explanation of some of the key issues that will come up in the lecture, the kind of things, the learning style that's expected in the lecture. So it's ready so you can go back over some of the notes and look at some of the issues that might come up and form the basis of our conversations and discussions and our studies and our reading. So this is a social media module, social media innovation. What the module is in the title. So it's about what does it mean to be social. It's about what does media do and what do we do with media in a social way, and how do we innovate with that? So how do we use technology? How do we use creativity? How do we use critical thinking? What are the things that underpin our forward-looking use of social media? So to contrast this maybe with some other styles of thinking about social media, this is not like marketing. This is not, if you like, kind of replicating what other people have already done and kind of produce and churn out. This is about coming up with our own ideas. So I really value and I look for a kind of DIY aesthetic, a kind of get on and create your own culture. That's really the kind of rule of thumb with this. So we have, and I don't, hang on, let me write this down. We have, this is the, I produce each week, I produce a PowerPoint presentation, but I don't share the PowerPoint presentation with you because it has lots of images and it's fairly useless as a kind of guide unless there's specific diagrams within that. So what I do is I produce a set of notes. And these are posted up online. And because this is a social media module, we post them on our wiki. And you can find the wiki, which is, oh, hang on, I've written that wrong. wiki.our.dmu.ac.uk. So you can find all of this content. There it is. I'm doing this live. Made a bodge. That's how it works. So if you go to wiki.our.dmu.ac.uk and look for the page or the link for TECH1002, and each week I'll be posting the lecture notes and any reading material that you're related to the reading list, additional articles, and any viewing material as well. So if there's any programs that might help and give you a bit more background about your learning. So this week, as an introduction, we're going to hit the ground running and we're going to talk about what mediation is. So the idea is that we're going to discuss how media is one of the central components to our lives. And some of you will have studied media for some considerable time before coming to DMU. Some of it might be new to you as a formal area of study. So we're going to kind of think about some basic concepts. So we're going to think about the idea of what mediation is and how some approaches to mediation might change, and what does technology do? What do our smartphones do in terms of the devices that we use, the way that we share media? We're no longer a kind of media culture which is based on passive audiences, but we are active networks and communities. So these are kind of debates about participation, about engagement, about creativity, which we can all get involved with, and we're going to explore and try and tease something out of. So we'll look through this session at some key ideas, just some introductory ideas, and one of which is kind of how the world is mediated, language is mediated through signs and symbols. And there's a reference kind of set of theories which are based around an idea called symbolic interactionism, which we'll explain through the duration of the module. And we'll look at kind of theorists and thinkers who've made a really interesting contribution to these debates. People like Marshall McLuhan, who is known for the adage, the media is the message. So we'll kind of go through some of the background to this, but we want to do this in the way that is engaging and is interesting. So I'm using a lot of my interest in certain types of popular music and certain types of film. So it's kind of informed by where I'm coming from in terms of music that I've grown up with and that I like, and is kind of marks a different stage in different versions of what it means to be social and how media changes as the technology changes. You might have different ideas, and in your coursework, that's the point where you can explore and explain and share and describe your interests in media and your interest in media practice and production. So it's a hands-on module, but there's a lot of thinking to do at the same time as well. So there's key phrases, media literacies, critical literacies, hyperreality, hacking. There's all of these buzz phrases, if you like, that hang around and need some kind of explanation. But we'll go through these in the lectures. Each week you're going to have a 2-hour workshop. That's run by my colleague, John Costa. And John will go through some of the kind of more practical issues. This week, in the first week, we're going to get to know each other and do some thinking around the idea of what it means to be social. We'll look at some of the videos that students produced last year and the year before, where they reflected on what they'd learnt in the module. We'll also look at some of the themes, the nitty-gritty part of the module, if you like. I'm going to keep that out of the lecture and put it into the workshops, the aims and themes of what we're doing. And, it'll be a good discussion point. We want to get a lively engagement. We want to participate in our learning. So just to kind of reiterate, attendance is really important for this module because it's about conversations and discussions. It's about face-to-face engagement. Interestingly, it's a social media module, but we need to work in a face-to-face way, and it's the strongest way to learn. It's where we interact with each other and we can see into each other's eyes. Do we understand that? Is that being explained well? Are we picking this up? Does the light bulb go off? That kind of thing. That's what we're looking for. We can't do that if we're sitting in bed or if we're distracted looking at a screen. We need to be chatting to each other. So lots of material to get through. This is just a brief overview of what we'll cover in the first sessions. Each week I'll post this up and I'll put a link onto the wiki, which, if you remember, and you're going to get sick to death of me telling you this, is wiki.our.dmu.ac.uk. Okay, see you at the lecture.